On.
We're on. Sorry.
Mm.
2, 3. Sausage in a bun.
On.
That's what I love about this show. Professionals to the very end.
Always.
It
John,
must go on, even though we can't find the theme.
music. We improvise because we are just die-hard, consummate professionals. So welcome all who can hear the sound of my voice to this week's edition of the Squatchable podcast. Well, we're not going to talk about news. We're going to have a nice sort of free-form show tonight. Talk about Bigfoot experience, what drew us to the community, and I believe Phil has a Bigfoot encounter story.
Oh yeah, I got two of them actually.
There we go. So
Mm.
it's going to be packed with entertainment. Joining me as always from Power Breakdown, Phil Pulling. Phil, how are you?
Howdy doody.
Good-o. And joining us from Tennessee, outside of Memphis, still alive despite the hopes of many, Nikki Slick.
Hey.
About a half a mile from the dump.
Yep.
The Memphis City dump.
Nice.
Live.
And if you enjoy Nikki and Phil, you may enjoy the badly drawn misadventures of two Bigfoot. Head on over to Facebook and Bigfooting with Keith and Colin, where this week Keith and Colin will attempt to prevent an asteroid from destroying the Earth. That's coming up this. Yeah, it's going to be real dramatic and badly drawn, really badly drawn. But okay.
There is a comet coming this way, you know.
And tonight, I thought we'd mix it up a little. If you have any questions for any of us, feel free to chime off in the comment section in the live chat, and we will answer them as best we can. To all the ladies, that the question I know you're going to ask, the answer is 9 inches. Without further ado, I'm your host, Richard Allen, and let's just jump into it. So, Phil, what drew you to the Bigfoot community?
Well, when I was in high school and I was just turned 17, and we had a bicycle club. You know, we take bicycle trips and so forth. And on spring break, I and a friend of mine named Frank, we decided we were gonna ride from Tigard. That Tigard is about southeast of Portland, Oregon. And so we packed up about 60 pounds worth of crap on our 10-speed. Back in the days, 10-speed bicycles was the best, you know. And we packed everything on this 10-speed bikes and took off and head along this Highway 30 out of Portland. And Highway 30 follows the Columbia River as it winds its way towards the coast. And that's what our goal was. We were going to camp out at Fort Stevens, which is out outside of Astoria, Oregon, right on the coast. So getting close to the end of the first day, and of course spring break, it starts getting dark around 6 o'clock because we're not talking about summer season here. And it was about 5 that we found ourselves out of this town called Napa. And we were heading up into the hills above the Columbia River, and along the old Highway 30. And the old Highway 30 was literally a 2-lane highway or road that used to be in place before I-5 came through and before the coastal highway came through, which is Highway 26. Everyone drove the old Highway 30. So we're going up Highway 30 and going up a pretty good incline above the river. And all of a sudden, we heard a call. a howling call, you know, and you've all heard the Moneymakers Ohio Bigfoot, right? Hello?
Yep.
Okay. And then you hear the dog barking, and then you hear the Bigfoot out in the back, way out in the distance. Oh, well, that's what it sounded like. Except it was very loud, extremely loud, very, very, very loud. It was. Let me put it this way. Um, it went on. I mean, it was a single howl, and it went on for about, I would say, 4 to 5 seconds, which is a long time if you consider it a howl. You know, count to 4 or 5, and then it stopped. But at its crescendo, because it kind of starts like that, and then at this crescendo, it was so loud we couldn't tell where it was coming from. It was like the sound was surrounding us completely. And the reason for that, I think, is because off to the right, where it emanated from or where it originated, there was a huge stand of close trees together. Looks like it was maybe freshly planted. And these trees were only about 15 feet, maybe a little bit higher, all bunched together. And that's where it came from, to the right, right off the highway. But off to the left was like a sheer cliff going straight up from the road, rock. You know, you see where they chiseled through to put the highway in, you know. And the sound was, what it was doing was going past us and hitting this rock abatement and then coming back. So at its crescendo, it was like all around us. And it's one of those things that you just feel all the way down to your toes, you know. Um, and the call sounded just like that, just like the Ohio one. It's very human sounding, like a big human being going, oh, and louder than a freight train, you know. This thing was immensely loud. And from that, I just guessed or gathered that it was very close. It had to be like right there, yeah, maybe right off the highway into that clump of 15-year-old aspens or whatever they were, maybe alders. I think they might have been alders. And then beyond the alders were fir trees, Douglas fir, things like that. And it sloped down towards the river. From that point. Now, uh, the only blind spot in my memory on this, you know how sometimes you say, well, your memory is, no matter how much you try to remember something, there's always going to be some aspect of it that's wrong, that your memory changes over time.
Right. Yeah.
But something like this, it's just like when Kennedy was killed. I was in the third grade when John F. Kennedy was killed. I was in Catholic school, and I got the bad knuckles to prove it, and the red butt to prove it too. I was in Catholic school, third grade, and I had a crush on this little red-haired girl named Laura. And I was in the center row, three back, and she was like in the first row, two back or something from the front. I remember that. And so the nun brought in a radio and plugged it into the wall and turned it on. And there was Walter Cronkite talking about, or not Walter Cronkite, it was just some announcer, local guy. And he was talking about John F. Kennedy just being shot. And this is before our lunch, just before our lunch, right? I mean, we were just about ready to break for lunch. And I remember immediately looking over to Laura, and her hands all up in her face, just covering her whole face. You couldn't believe it. Just everyone was shocked. But just one of those things, those moments in time where no matter how many times you think about it or look back on it, it's always exactly the same. And that's the way it was with this incident. Right. I can tell you the color of my bike, where the bedroll was, who kept what where on their bicycles, what I was wearing, the funny hat that Frank wore. I mean, everything about it I remember, except for one little spot. And even at the time, I don't remember how I got from being on top of the bicycle riding to standing next to it, scared shitless. It was like it was like instantaneously I was from the top of that bicycle to the pavement. You know, I'm sure I must have jumped off somehow. But I mean, it was like boom, off the bike on the pavement.
On the ground. Must
And
have
I
been
don't remember
terrifying.
swinging my leg over or nothing. I was just there. And Frank was ahead of me, and he gets off his bicycle, and he's standing there, and I'm standing there, and we're waiting to see if it's going to happen again. And I had a little Craig tape recorder at the time. I was going to, make little audio things of our trip. And I pulled out the microphone real quick, and I plugged it into the tape recorder, and I turned it on, and I let it run and run and run and run. And Frank says, "Wow, flying saucer." That's what he said. He said, "Oh, flying saucer." And I'm like, well, what would I do if this thing comes out? Because we'll turn around and head back down the hill is what we'll do, as fast as we can go. But, but that was it. That's all that happened. So we went to the other side of the highway and continued up the hill. And about 6 miles later, there was a thing called Nat Creek Campground. And it was not much of a campground, and it was off season. They don't open till like June. And we knocked on the guy's door that ran the campground. And he says, "Yeah, you can go ahead and pick a campsite." So that's where we stayed and kind of took turns sleeping. Anyway, but that was that experience. But the interesting thing is that while we were at the campground, Frank told me about his older brother, Joel.
Right.
Now, Joel, and I knew Joel. I mean, Joel's he was a state wrestling champion. Big guy. No BS kind of a guy. If he said something, you better believe what he's saying is true, because he'll kill you if you don't. But he had told Frank about when he started this bike club, and he and two other guys were up in Washington State in the Mount St. Helens area, Mount St. Helens National Park area. And they had gone into a campground for the night, and this was during the summer, and this was like an 800-mile trip, this big loop thing that they were doing. And it was late at night. It was beautiful, stars out, clear sky. And each of them had like their own personal pup tent kind of thing. And all it was a plastic tarp with some rope, and you tie it off to the trees, and put your bedroll underneath. And Joel was kind of a tall guy, and he wanted to look at the stars anyway. So it was so nice and warm. He just had his head kind of sticking out of the tent, looking up at the stars. And just then it was later on, two guys were asleep. He heard something, like somebody walking. You know what they say, it's the bipedal steps, and you can tell. Well, he just said he could hear something or somebody walking. He kind of looked to his right as he's laying on his back. And there's this little cow fence, these little like 3.5 or 4 foot tall cow fence. And because there was a cow field on the other side. And here comes this huge, dark figure, huge,
right,
walking up to the fence, stepping over the fence, just stepping over the fence, and walking right past Joel, almost touching him, but I'm just walked straight past him, then right out of the campground, just like that. And Joel was like, "Well, what was that?"
Well, what else would you say? I mean,
yeah, it's like,
what is it?
What's that?
What is it? What are we seeing?
But that's so that's the story that Joel told. And I actually have another one, but it's, I believe, what was being relayed to me was more than likely coyotes, but it was still kind of a freaky story. But it's not my turn anymore. You want a commercial? You want to tell stories, or what do I want to do here?
Let's go to commercial.
Okay. Oh yeah, we have a new sponsor. By the way, one of the sponsors from last week, I had to talk to him and say, look, we can't play your spots anymore because, if you're gonna put a spot on our show, it would be nice if it was in English, and if not English, at least something other than Portuguese. So
we only have one rule for sponsors, pretty much, and that's it has to be in English. To be fair.
Well, they got to show them the green. But anyway,
yeah.
Right. But now we have a new sponsor for Turbo Encabulator. So here we are.
For a number of years now, work has been proceeding in order to bring perfection to the crudely conceived idea of a transmission that would not only supply inverse reactive current for use in unilateral phase detractors, but would also be capable of automatically synchronizing cardinal grammeters. Such an instrument is the Turbo Encabulator. Now, basically, the only new principle involved is that instead of power being generated by the relative motion of conductors and fluxes, it is produced by the modial interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive directance. The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panametric fan. The latter consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes so fitted to the ambipatient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus O delta type placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator, every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the Grammys. The Turbo Encabulator has now reached a high level of development, and it's being successfully used in the operation of novatrunnions. Moreover, whenever a fluorescent score motion is required, it may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal repleneration. It's not cheap, but I'm sure the government will buy it.
Okay.
Good, huh?
I like the fact that they're using the new capacitance on them.
Absolutely.
They'll probably make it a lot quicker.
New and improved. So we have a couple of questions from the chat room. Nikki, are you still here?
I am. just being quiet, listening to stories, listening to commercials. I'm still here.
Okay. So A Space NG asks, what is your favorite cryptid and why for everyone? So Nikki, you can go first.
It's the chupacabra.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I love it. I don't know why. It was like Bigfoot was my first cryptid I had ever heard of ever. But I don't know. Chupacabra is the first one that I actually got interested in. Like, when I was younger, Harry and the Hendersons, like there's nothing really interesting about Bigfoot in that way. But like, Chupacabra is eating everybody's, cows and crap and sucking out people's entrails. That's awesome.
Goats. Eating goats.
Like goats and cows and yeah.
Goat sucker.
A goat sucker.
I love them. They're awesome.
Nikki's a fan of the Chupacabra. Phil, what are you?
Well, she kind of stole my thunder. My favorite's the Chupacabra. It has been.
Yeah,
I even love the Chupacabra song.
You two are messing with me now. I don't like it.
I'm not messing with you. You know genuinely that I am not messing with you.
Yes, for some reason you like the Chupacabra, the worst cryptid. The cryptid that has to wear the silly hat of shame at the cryptid meeting.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you another one. I'll give you Matt Knapp's favorite cryptid. Jackalope.
Are jackalopes considered cryptids?
Yeah,
they are.
Oh, well then it would be the jackalope because jackalopes are freaking awesome.
You can't change cryptids.
I didn't realize. Okay, fine. Chupacabra is still awesome, but I have an affinity for jackalopes. I've got yeah.
Well, they're a little cuter than the chupacabras.
They are adorable. So would Cabot be considered a cryptid?
A what?
A Cabot?
What's
What
a
the hell?
cabot?
You guys haven't heard of Cabots, like half rabbit, half cat?
No.
Cabots. They're
No,
adorable.
Why would anyone mix those two together?
I don't know, but they're super cute when you see them, in pictures.
Well, why would they be a cryptid if there's if there's actually a?
I don't think there's such a thing. I don't think that there is such a thing.
Well, they're
I
a
mean-
koi dog.
Pretty sure that they are not.
A rabbit with antlers, that's a menacing thing, but something that's half cat, half rabbit, I mean,
So
Come
if
on.
they're cute. I think jackalopes are cute. Like, who would look at a jackalope and be terrified? Nobody. They would take them home and make them a pet.
Yeah, and train them to stand in the corner and use them as a hat rack.
wow.
I know
Get
that was
another email from Peter after this. Yeah.
Right. Free
My
the
favorite-
jackalopes.
No.
Don't use
like
jackalopes
Chubb,
as hat racks.
looks like Chubbs likes the Mothman. I think Mothman is my least favorite because it's so much. It's not about Mothman. The whole thing was never about Mothman. It was about the weird stories that people were telling, and they all put it together, and it became this Mothman thing. It's just dumb.
There was pictures,
No, there's no pictures.
of a shadow on the bridge.
No, there's no shadow on the bridge.
It's
But
the
we've seen
Mothman.
it, Phil.
Somebody has.
We've all seen the pictures.
They're
of the
not
shadow on the
real.
bridge. Are you
Anybody
telling me
can
that
invent-
someone photoshopped that?
Anybody can invent a costume with. I've seen the Mothman costumes of the guy who climbs up on the bridge and stuff.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You know who's never mentioned? Bat Boy. We've
Yeah,
all seen pictures of Bat Boy.
everyone's seen Bat Boy.
Everybody has seen Bat Boy, and we don't talk about him. Whatever happened to him? Is he just
I don't know.
He grew up puberty
rolling
here.
in
He
his
wasn't as cute
National
as anymore.
Enquirer?
He
money.
became Batman.
Batman.
Started making movies.
He grew up, and he couldn't be Batman because that's a syndicated, copyrighted name. So he just faded to obscurity.
Or he's just took a long. He retired on his National Enquirer money. You don't know.
My favorite cryptid is the Goat Man.
Ah, yeah.
He guards
story.
his bridge.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps interlopers off of his bridge. That's a respectable job for a cryptid, in my opinion. There's too much loafing around with most cryptids. They just sit around or be blurry and never get any actual proof. But the Goat Man just stands and protects his bridge.
They say he came from a sideshow that he escaped from the train.
He escaped from a circus, and now he protects his bridge.
Mm-hmm.
See, you say that, and I just think about Goat Boy from SNL. Was that SNL?
Why have you got to ruin things for me?
I'm sorry.
I mean, I've got a really nice cryptid, a really awesome story, and you're just like, why don't I just ruin this for Richard?
That's what I do, though. You have to
It's
be.
what you
You've known
do.
me how many years? Like close to 15.
Yes. If I'd done a murder, I'd be out by now.
Right?
Chubb says, question, if you could visit any country to hit the woods, where would you go?
Are we talking about searching for Bigfoot or just wanting to
Just
go hang out?
in the woods.
Japan, they have a really cool bamboo grove, or just the rainforest. Freaking, I
Well,
love the rainforest.
Japan also has the suicide woods.
They do, yeah. I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't feel compelled to go there though.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, wouldn't that be freaky?
Not really. I mean, I deal with people that are getting cut open all the time. That doesn't bother me any. So if there are people hanging from the trees, I don't know. It would just ruin the aesthetic of the pretty forests.
Oh, I see.
It wouldn't be creepy to me. I'd just be like, damn it, y'all ruin everything. Why are humans like this?
Well, since I'm basically surrounded by forests, I would rather go to Las Vegas.
You have some beautiful forests your way.
Oh yeah, we do. Just like
Yeah.
every day.
Too much forest for Phil. Are you overforested?
Yes. We need. In fact, we're about to have one of our trees in the back cut down.
Oh,
Yeah. Frank Smith. Oh, well, read Frank Smith's.
yeah. Just let me answer the question first. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
would go to Tasmania and hit the woods there.
They have woods in Tasmania.
It's pretty much all woods. It's pretty much all forest
Oh, cool.
in Tasmania. So Frank Smith has a question for Phil. Phil, in your last video, have you proven that Todd Standing is actually the Wolfman? Is he in fact a new type of cryptid?
Yes.
Nice.
Next
I like it.
Next question.
Succinctly put. Well, we're out of questions now. We've only had 3.
Well,
Go to commercial, and then we'll talk to Nikki.
About
Do you
yeah.
have feelings of inadequacy? Do you suffer from shyness? Do you sometimes wish you were more assertive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, ask your doctor or pharmacist about tequila. Tequila is the safe, natural way to feel better and more confident about yourself and your actions. Tequila can help ease you out of your shyness and let you tell the world that you're ready and willing to do just about anything. You'll notice the benefits of tequila almost immediately, and with a regimen of regular doses, you can overcome any obstacles that prevent you from living the life you want to live. Shyness and awkwardness will be a thing of the past, and you'll discover many talents you never knew you had. Stop hiding and start living with tequila. Tequila may not be right for everyone. Women who are pregnant or nursing should not use tequila. However, women who wouldn't mind nursing or becoming pregnant are encouraged to try it. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, vomiting, incarceration, erotic lustfulness, loss of motor control, loss of clothing, loss of money, loss of virginity, delusions of grandeur, table dancing, headache, dehydration, dry mouth, and a desire to sing karaoke and play all-night rounds of strip poker, truth or dare, and naked twister. Warning, the consumption of alcohol may make you think you're whispering when you're not. It's a major factor in dancing like a retard. May cause you to tell your friends over and over again that you're in love with them. Also may cause you to think you can sing. Alcohol may lead you to believe that ex-lovers are really dying for you to telephone them at 4 in the morning. Alcohol may make you think you can logically converse with members of the opposite sex without spitting. It may create the illusion that you are tougher, smarter, faster, and better looking than most people. And it may lead you to think people are laughing with you. Alcohol may cause pregnancy. And it also may be a major factor in getting your ass kicked. So what are you waiting for? Stop hiding and start living with tequila.
Tequila! All right then, Nikki. What drew you to the Bigfoot community?
Honestly, you, but my whole family is full of nerds, so I've always, like, my father is big into that kind of stuff at least when I was younger. So I heard about Bigfoot and chupacabras and crap like that, and I never really got into it. Like, I would read articles or whatever every once in a while, but you're the one that kind of threw me into the Bigfoot community, as it were. You and Phil.
We're the worst.
You guys are the worst.
Question from SoFlo Entertainment. What is your favorite cryptid story? Go, Nikki.
Why are you asking me? I don't really have a favorite because most of them are like so ridiculous. I don't know. I have some that I like to laugh at.
Okay, which one
But
do you like to laugh at?
I guess my favorite one would actually be Patty, just because it's it's the first that seemed like it couldn't be immediately thrown out. It seems more pure than the other ones, instead of like, I am the savior of all the Bigfoot.
Patty is Bigfoot Jesus.
Basically.
Phil, what's your favorite cryptid story?
Well, I have 2 favorite cryptid stories. One is the Jersey Devil, because I mean that is the coolest story when it comes to a cryptid. I mean, from beginning to end, man, that thing. It's between that one and Spring Hill Jack.
I
don't know Spring Hill Jack. I'll be honest.
Spring Hill Jack is not a cryptid. Okay,
it is.
It is not a cryptid.
Sure, it is.
It was just some dude running around London in the Victorian age.
That's like saying Wolfman or Dogman is just a dude walking around with a furry coat on.
Well, it could be, especially in Dogman's
He
case.
had supernatural abilities. Spring Hill Jack did.
Well, maybe he was just into parkour really bad. I mean, I've never really been comfortable with the inclusion of Spring Heel Jack with cryptids.
Some people thought he was some kind of a vampire, or perhaps some kind of a wolfman or something.
Well, people have opinions. They're not always right.
What
But
what
What
opinion
are you
about
talking
any
about?
what opinion about any cryptid is right?
yours about the Mothman?
God. Well, now you're talking about Spring Heel Jack with a different costume.
Spring Heel Jack is the Mothman. That's what you're going with.
Yep, with or vice versa.
Okay, so Jersey Devil or Spring Heel Jack.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Mine is the Battle of Ape Canyon. I absolutely adore that.
Oh, 1924.
Bunch of miners run into a bunch of Bigfoot. A rumble ensues. It's just brilliant from beginning to end. I absolutely love that story.
That is a good one. And what I loved was the follow up. The follow up where they actually located what looks like remnants of like a rope ladder that went down to what used to be the
cabin.
area, the cabin. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I mean, it was the cabin was there, and there were miners up there. It could have happened.
Angie, Patty.
What?
Angie likes Patty.
Oh yeah, A Space NG.
Mm-hmm.
One of our longest fans. Do we have a final commercial?
Sure.
Cute.
Are you a man but you're turned off by monster trucks? Have you ever watched the bridges of Madison County? Have you forgotten how to scratch yourself? If so, talk to your doctor, because you could be one of the 10 million men suffering in silence from a condition known as menopause. Menopause afflicts men over the age of 40 and is one of the leading causes of depression, the loss of manliness, and the popularity of movies starring Owen Wilson. But there is hope. Girly Man No More. Girly Man No More has been scientifically and clinically proven to increase manliness. Talk to your doctor to see if Girly Man No More is right for you. Girly Man No More should only be used as directed by your physician. Possible side effects include death, sudden loss of limbs, temporary disembowelment, rage, clammy hands, hairy palms, hearing voices, busy signals, extreme attraction to squirrels, and fear of elevators. Girly Man No More is not for men who are pregnant or who may become pregnant. Do not take Girly Man No More if you have hands or if you're currently taking any other medicine. So talk to your doctor and call now for a free trial. Girly Man No More. Also available in a topical cream. But that's just wrong.
Yeah. Another new sponsor.
Richard, you never said what got you into Bigfoot.
Yeah. I was going to end on that.
Oh, well done.
A Space NG asks, who do you feel should win Bigfoot Researcher of the Year?
I have no answer.
I'm sorry. Well, let me see here. Well, Rick Dyer won it 1 year.
Deservedly so.
And the presenter was Facebook Find Bigfoot. They're the ones who actually.
I miss them so much. They were awesome.
Yeah. I think that Bigfoot Researcher, I don't know, that's almost a misnomer. I don't even think there is such a real thing as a Bigfoot Researcher. I mean, people that are in the community, they do research Bigfoot, but it's like they're not known, like they go to work painting houses, and then they come home and it's a hobby. It's not a profession, unless you count the guys who are actually on TV doing it. Then it's a profession.
Yeah, the people that make money off it.
Right.
are the ones
So,
that-
and would it be the people that's on the show, or would it be the producers of the show that would be the Bigfooters?
Hmm.
I
I
just
think they should. Sorry.
go ahead.
I think they should posthumously give it to Tim Fasano.
Hey, that's an idea. Posthumously, yes.
Posthumously. Is that how you say that word?
That's how we say it.
I've never known how to say that word. I learned something today.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
the correct way.
Nice. Well, they should give it to Tim Fasano. You know,
Just
because he was
because
a legend.
he was.
And that's a good segue into what drew me into the Bigfoot community, which was Tim Fasano. I remember at the time I was massively into the thylacine, and I was going on forums and watching thylacine videos. And once you're in the cryptid world, sooner or later you're going to bump into Bigfoot. And I was vaguely aware that Bigfoot existed. I'd seen a couple of specials when I was a kid. It wasn't like a passion from day one for me. But I started watching a couple of Bigfoot videos, Bigfoot documentary. And then I went on YouTube and I found Tim Fasano's videos, and I was hooked. Like, that was it. I was dragged into the Bigfoot world. This was well over 10 years ago, when he was feuding with Timber Giant Bigfoot, and he'd made this really self-indulgent, lame video about how great he was, and I was just. And I have two reactions to that kind of personality. I'm either going to fall desperately in love with you, or I'm going to hate you till the day I die. And I just fell deeply in love with him. He was just like, and from him I went to Timber Giant Bigfoot. From him I went to Super Soylent, an old defunct channel, long forgotten. From
Whatever happened to that guy?
From Super Soylent, I ended up in Team Taser, then Yeti, Coalition. Blah, the rest is history. And that's my Bigfoot story. But yeah, I mean, whatever happened to Super Soylent? Gone but not forgotten.
He had a small following, but they were dedicated.
Very dedicated. Nikki doesn't get the joke, so.
Whatever happened to Facebook Find Bigfoot?
I had myself on mute. I'm sorry.
Well, you weren't saying.
What happened to Facebook Find Bigfoot? The Hank hoax was exposed, and they looked like tossers, so they vanished into the night. Which was a shame, because, Facebook Find Bigfoot, I liked their videos. They were so funny. Remember when they confirmed South Jersey Squatch's video, and he was like, hang on a minute, so he took it to you.
Yep. Some of my best breakdowns were basically their videos.
Oh, they were the best. Maximus Decimus Meridius confirms on 16 points. Cone-shaped head. Now we have NTV. Yeah. Yeah, we do, Chubbs, but they're not as good as Facebook Find Bigfoot. They just show the video.
NVTV, man, they'll post anything. I mean,
yeah.
All they do is they find videos online, and they'll put it on their channel.
I really need to make up my own hoax ones. I mean, I have a family full of people over 6'6".
Well, there you go.
With long, gangly arms. I just need to, get up off my butt.
But do you have an old cell phone you can use?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I could really mess up my current one and just have them far enough away.
Just smear a little bit of Vaseline
on it, yeah.
on the lens.
But I mean, they've got long arms, like long gangly arms, long gangly legs. I just need to make them look a bit broader. Put some fur on them. They'll be fine.
There you
Just
go.
put a carpet over them. Or
Yeah.
a poncho.
Yeah.
Mexican Bigfoot.
Or a black hoodie. I've seen lots of videos where it's obviously a man in a black hoodie.
Right.
Film them from a distance with Vaseline on your camera. Give
Mhm.
it to NVTV, and you'll be a Bigfoot star.
Awesome. Until, someone goes back and hears this. And how many times I've said that I need to get my brother-in-law and my nephews involved in this.
Yeah,
And
it's
hoax it.
never a good idea to out yourself. But
Right? Immediately. Just immediately out to myself. I can send it over to Phil. He could break it down and be like, nah, it looks legit. That's definitely something walking in the woods.
Maybe NVTD will grab my video and put it on their channel.
That's right. See, we can work together.
Just take the sound out, put the music track in. You got it.
Mhm. Awesome.
me and Phil took one of my ferret videos once and put it on his channel on a breakdown, and he confirmed it. It was great. It was obviously a joke, but
I missed that one.
lots of people in the comments took it seriously. They were like, "That's a stoat, man." Quality. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap us up for this week. Unless anyone else has any questions.
Dun,
It was nice just,
It was nice.
hanging out and talking.
Yeah, just have a bit of a chat.
I don't have any Bigfoot experiences. I have a could be UFO, could be just stealth airplane experience, but that's it.
Okay, tell the story.
I think I've already told you. I think I told you the day that it happened. My niece and I were in the car, and it's a bright, sunny day. There's not a cloud in the sky. And then suddenly, like, a shadow just encompasses the entire vehicle. And there's nothing around us. It's field on either side. They've already taken everything down from the field. Like, it's in the middle of the summer. There's nothing there. So it's just this dark shadow goes by, and we see it like encompass the entire vehicle and shoot off down the field beside us. And both of us, like, I slowed down, and both me and my niece literally looked out the window and were like looking in the sky for any kind of cloud that could have been there or anything. She swears it's a dragon, but I think I'm right next to a Navy base, so it was probably some kind of stealth whatever, but it was just massive. It was the biggest shadow I've ever seen, just encompassed the entire car and beyond, and went on down the field.
That was clearly a Thunderbird. I mean,
something. You couldn't see anything. We rolled down the windows. We couldn't hear anything. So I don't know. I think it's, like I said, there's a Navy base and not an airport, but one of the Navy bases have like their airport there. So yeah, I think that's
that
what it
makes
was.
sense.
But
One
it could be a
final
UFO.
Sorry. One final question there from Dean Cooper. What is reality? Well, if you jump off a building, Dean, reality's the ground.
Reality is whatever your eyes tell you. It's perception. Nobody sees the world the same way or colors
No.
the same way. So
It
reality is whatever your brain tells you it is.
Reality is very subjective. Very subjective. To Matthew Johnson's followers, everything he says is the truth.
True.
And on that sad note, we will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Nikki, and it's good night from Phil.
Good night, everyone.
Oh yeah, there's the outro. Almost closed the show without the outro there. I just let it pray for a few seconds. Wouldn't be the Squatchable podcast without the outro. We'll see you next week.